Bonsoir! I am Mademoiselle and ça c'est deuxième Chanel. And as you guys can tell by the title, we have another voodoo story time for you. I really don't talk about zombies a lot on my channel. I've done maybe 2 or 3 videos, and I don't even think it was 3. I know for a fact I've done 1. But other than that, I don't really touch on them. And that's because zombies are probably one of the scariest phenomenons that you will ever hear about, especially in Haitian culture. Now, if you're not aware of what a zombie is, please make sure you guys go watch my video about zombies that I've done breaking it down. So there is scientific backing on exactly what a zombie is and how one becomes a zombie. And then, of course, there's the spiritual side of it, right? Everything that we've been fed by Hollywood is not true, okay? Zombies are not these scary-looking, dead-looking people that walk around trying to, like, kill you or whatever the case may be. Zombies actually look like you and me. Your neighbor could be a zombie. Your brother could be a zombie. Your mother could be a zombie. Like, there's so many stories out there that you can look up both on YouTube and TikTok where people have told their different experiences with zombies. Now, throughout the years, I've heard so many different stories from my parents, and this is going to be one of the stories, right? So understand, right? When it comes to turning people into zombies, I don't want to say, it's not the same as like the whole Lugao situation, right? We talked about Lugao so many times on this channel. Typically, one is turned into a Lugao as punishment for something that they've done. But sometimes when the mumble or the Ogon doesn't want to turn you into a Lugao, they turn you into a zombie. Additionally, someone close to you, or I guess someone that is not a mumble or an Ogon, can also turn you into the zombie with the help of a mumble, an Ogon, or a Bokor. It's very interesting because when it comes to a lot of these zombie stories that you hear, a lot of the times it's someone doing it out of vengeance. And a lot of times the people that are trying to enact this onto someone else end up meeting their demise. Like, karma usually hits them very quick because the whole idea of turning someone into a zombie is literally restricting that person's free will completely. And honestly, it's probably one of the worst things you can do to someone, right? Before we get started, I did just open up my channel memberships for those of you guys who really want to support me and get bonuses for following me here on this channel. And thank you guys so much in advance if you do join. Understand, all my stories, I changed all my details, okay? I may say it's in this place, but it's not that place. I may say this person was a guy, but it might have been a girl. I may say this person was a girl, but it might have been a guy. I always change up my stories for privacy reasons, okay? So, yeah, you get the essence, you get the lesson. So this story takes place in Kabale, Haiti. My dad told me this story was passed down to him. So this probably, like, we probably talk about like the 40s, the 30s in Haiti, right? So when it comes to family, okay, we all know Haitian families are interesting, right? You have the families that love each other no matter what. And even though they fight, they always kiss and make up. And then you have those Haitian families that just hate each other, okay? Yo hate mama, yo hate papa, they hate their brother, they hate their sister, they hate everybody. But in this case, with this family, there was a lot of hatred, right? So let's just say there was 3 kids, right? 3 kids, but they came from an affluent family. Their family was very, very rich. Their family had a lot of money and political power. So we're just going to name the kids Bobby. Okay, you know what? I'm looking at something right here. So we're named the boy Bobby, and then there's 2 girls. So we got Bobby. We'll name the girl Aurelia. And then Stephanie. I don't know where I got these names from, but yeah, we're just going to name them that. And then we have the parents. The parents aren't too important to this because they're not really going to be mentioned too much, right? So these were very affluent kids. They had money. They didn't really have the need or ask for anything. Now, of course, since their parents had money and they were of a higher status, we all know how those kids be thinking. And I'm not saying this is you. Okay, I'm not saying this is you if you fall into that category, but we all know a lot of times when people come from affluent families and stuff, a lot of y'all be waiting for y'all parents to die, okay? They be waiting. They be quick to be also, shit, I can't wait for my mom or my dad to die because I'm about to inherit millions, okay? Tout monde veut inheritance, okay? Everybody wants that money to come in. And it's sad to say that because, yo, it's funny because I even know people personally that was just like, I can't wait. I can't wait. And it's funny because it's not even just the inheritance in this case. Like, their parents were just really shitty parents. Their parents were never around. They didn't really take care of them. Essentially, they were taken care of by the maids and the rest avec and the bon and all of that. So it's like, realistically, they didn't have too much of a great relationship with their parents. And anytime their parents were around, they didn't spend the time that they had with their kids. They were very distant. So honestly, like, these kids, I don't want to say they didn't love their parents. I'm sure they loved their parents. However, it was one of those things where it's like, who cares? Okay, so Bobby, Aurelia, and Stephanie end up being in their like mid to late 20s when their parents pass away very shortly after one another. So let's just say the mom died in a car accident and then the father got sick, right? So I believe they both died within the same year. So at this point, obviously everything is going to be left to the kids. Now, here is the caveat here, right? Even though both parents were never around, the whole consensus here was that obviously the kids were going to get the money. The problem here was, and just like anywhere else, nobody was able to decide on who would get what, how, so on and so forth. It just became a big ass mess. And this is something that happens in Haiti too damn much. Like, I've seen families genuinely not talk to each other over fucking land, over houses, over pigs, over horses, like all types of stupid shit. Like, there's literally so many people out there that are beefing with their families strictly off the strength of like, I deserve the land and you don't. So Bobby, being the only boy, was unfortunately the favorite. He was the one that literally handled all the finances when the father was getting sick and when the mother died. He's the one that organized the funerals. He's the one that basically took care of everything when the two younger sisters were like, I mean, they weren't too far off in age, but he's just the one that did everything. And plus he's the boy. And we already know, I've talked about it a few times, especially on Instagram, like when it comes to being Haitian, like a lot of times they cherish their boys. It's very annoying. Like, a lot of us like to joke about it and a lot of us like to act like it's not painful, but it really is. Okay, a lot of these boys get away with murder. Okay, they could be horrible people and for whatever reason their parents still cherish them. And this was the case with Bobby. Okay, Bobby, although extremely popular and extremely responsible, was not that great of a person. He was mean to people. He was a womanizer. He was pretty rude, especially to other family members. So Aurelia and Stephanie didn't really care for him. Now, Stephanie was the youngest, and it's funny because although it looked like Bobby was doing every little thing in the family, Stephanie was the one really holding down the fort. He was making the payments and organizing things, but Bobby was such a hot mess. Stephanie had to step in and really make sure that things weren't spent incorrectly because Bobby was also a raging alcoholic, okay? Bobby couldn't hold $1 for 2 seconds without spending it on some bullshit. He was spending on women, alcohol, drugs, you name it. He was spending money on nonsense. And as soon as their parents died, he took the money and he was just buying shit, like buying expensive cars, buying luxury items, luxury clothes and stuff like that. So it became one of those things where Aurelia and Stephanie was like, bro, if we keep letting him spend like this, there's not going to be anything left for us. Now, I don't know if at one point they divided the money or not, or if they just had access to the accounts, which from what I understand, Bobby had access to the accounts and Stephanie had access to the accounts. Middle child, Aurelia, I feel like all of them had access to the accounts because the way I was told this story, it's like, how the hell did nobody know what was going to be split, but y'all were just spending money from the accounts? Like, all of them were actually like just spending and doing whatever it is that they wanted to with their parents' accounts as soon as they died. But Bobby was like really, really bad. Like literally within a month of both the parents dying. So I believe first it was the mom, then it was the dad. About 6 months after they died, there was at least $50,000 US gone from the accounts. Okay, $50,000 US is a fuck ton in Haiti. Okay, so I'm gonna put the conversion here, but yeah, that's how much he spent in just 6 months after both his parents died. So it became this whole big thing. They had to bring the family together and everybody wanted to have a conversation, you know, like a little mediation intervention type of situation. And it did not go well. Okay, so obviously Stephanie and Bobby are the ones that were mainly handling their parents' accounts. Aurelia was kind of just there, but at this point Aurelia just kind of got annoyed because they would both come to her about their complaints about one another. She was just like, at this point, like, none of y'all deserve anything because you guys are both selfish. And I mean, like, it is what it is. Like, Bobby obviously being the favorite and being the boy is going to get more or whatever the case may be, but like at this point, like, you're just as bad. And it's funny because Aurelia didn't really get along with Stephanie either. So it was a hot ass mess. Now it becomes a situation where out of retaliation, Bobby locks his siblings out of the account. Yes, like straight locks them out, doesn't say anything. And then Leal Dominican, okay, he went smooth to Dominican Republic, didn't say shit to anyone. And when I'm telling y'all, this pissed Aurelia and Stephanie off to the point where they end up going to a buck-off. Okay, y'all already know what it is. You already know what's gonna happen. Okay, they go to a buck and they're like, hey, yo, we need to do something about the situation. Here's the situation. Now we ain't got no money. We ain't got no this. We ain't got no that now. And this was really fucked up because Aurelia and Stephanie, honestly, all three of them, okay, were living off of their parents' riches. And trust me, they had enough riches for a couple of generations. And when it came to Aurelia and Stephanie, they had kids, okay? Bobby didn't have kids. He was busy being a bachelor, being a womanizer, doing all of this shit. But Aurelia and Stephanie, you'll get team one, all right? They're not working. They didn't go to school. From what I understand, they went to school, but they didn't finish. So, like, it's like spoiled rich kid syndrome, right? So they're literally banking on this money, but at the same time, they have kids to take care of, and their kids should not have to suffer because of petty sibling drama. So the Bokor is like, you know, I mean, I could get rid of him for you, but it's gonna cost. Now, this is the thing. When it comes to Ogons, Mumbos, Bokors, right? You have to be extremely careful because get rid of can mean a lot of different things. Get rid of could mean kill. Get rid of could mean lugau. Get rid of could mean make very, very sick and incapacitated. Or in this case, get rid of could mean turn him into a zombie. So from what I understand, Aurelia and Stephanie really wanted to kill him. Like they were drastically that upset that they genuinely are going to kill their brother because, I mean, they want access to the money. They felt like it should be theirs and he shouldn't have access to it. And obviously he wrongfully cut them off. So of course they go, they pay the Bokor. The Bokor says, I bet I got you, bada boom, bada bang. Within 3 to 5 months, Bobby was dead. Within 3 to 5 months, the effects of whatever it was the Bokor did started to set in. Bobby started getting extremely sick, vomiting blood coming from his ears, blood coming through his eyes. Like I'm talking about like whatever the fuck type of shit that Bokor did, it was serious. And his health declined rapidly in about 3 to 5 months to the point where it ended up killing him. Again, if you're not familiar with how the zombie thing works, you're dead, but you're not, right? Scientifically speaking, there's different chemical processes and different stages to make a zombie, but essentially a zombie is going to be the exact same person, sometimes mindless. And the whole point of turning someone into a zombie is typically out of vengeance or, you know, a restitution type of thing. And typically they use these people in order to work in fields or do other jobs for them, right? However, when it's someone actually going to make someone a zombie, well, in this case, technically they wanted to kill the man. They didn't want to make him a zombie, but the Bokor said, shit, why would I kill him when I can use him to my benefit? Like, you know, why would I do that? So he killed him, but not necessarily. Bobby was pronounced dead, okay? After being super, super sick, no one thought anything of it. People thought maybe he caught something over in the Dominican Republic, or maybe, you know, I remember my dad was telling me like, yeah, like they thought he caught some sort of STD. I'm like, what type of STD, you know, make you throw up blood and shit? Like, ridiculous. You know how ignorant people could be, right? So a lot of people really didn't think twice about it, kind of moved on from the situation. They were just like, you know what? It's sad that he passed away. And it is what it is. Aurelia and Stephanie get their money. Them and their kids live off the money. And, you know, everything copacetic. Till it wasn't. Like I said, people usually turn people into zombies to make them workers out of vengeance, retaliation, whatever the case may be, right? And what's very creepy about this is most people, like there's been people that have been interviewed, there's been people that have been telling their stories about being zombies in Haiti and other countries in Africa, okay? So the thing is, you are still awake, but you're not awake. Like you will look dead, you will be medically dead, but you are not dead. Like literally you're still alive, and there's a concoction that is given to you. And later on, the Ogon, the Mumbo, or the Bokor comes and they lift the person from the dead and they do whatever it is that they want with them. Whatever this concoction is, it keeps the person in a very suppressed mental state so that literally you can control them and do whatever it is that you want with them. The caveat to this is, and it's very sad for the person that this happens to, they can hear everything. So Bobby heard his entire funeral. He heard himself being buried. He heard himself getting picked up and all of that. So yeah, very creepy shit. After the funeral and honestly hearing his death and all of that coming to fruition, honestly, that would creep me out. That would probably kill me, okay? The Bokor comes and gets him. And that's a very, very crucial part of the process because then the person will actually die. Now, you guys are probably sitting here thinking like, how is that even possible with all the processes that happen when you're dead? In Haiti, they don't do all of that shit, okay? They only do autopsies and embalming and all that extra shit that we do in the States if it is requested, and it is extremely expensive. If you guys are not aware, the reason awake is called awake is because back in the day, they didn't used to do all of that crazy shit. All of these chemicals and stuff that they're putting inside you and cutting you up and all that, they didn't used to do that back then. The reason they used to have wakes was to literally see if the person would wake back up. So back in the day, yes, there was a lot of people that are actually getting up at their funerals, okay, getting up at their wakes, and that's why awake is essentially called awake. And in Haiti, it's so much more common for people to wake up or become zombies because they were never dead in the first place. While some people may argue, nope, they're dead, I seen it, whatever the case may be, and they came back because they're a zombie or someone made them into a zombie. It could be either or, okay? Whether we're talking about the chemical process, the spiritual process, whatever the case may be, this person is now considered a zombie because they were dead and gone or pronounced dead, and now they have risen. So the Bokor goes, gets Bobby, and he starts working with him. Now, you guys are probably like, well, how is it that nobody saw him? So Haiti is a small country, but at the same time, there's so many different parts of Haiti. When they went to that Bokor, they were smart enough not to go to a Bokor in Cabaret, because obviously somebody would sing like a canary and be like, oh, well, I saw your sisters going to da-da-da-da. I saw your sisters pulling up to da-da-da. So they went far as shit, okay? Like, they went to a whole nother department of Haiti in order to talk to this Bokor, so nobody would find out that they went to a Bokor. Don't ask me where I'm pas changer, okay? I know that it wasn't anywhere in the south of Haiti or anything. I knew it was like up, like all the way up somewhere. Obviously, when the Bokor came to get him and bring him to wherever, it was way further than Cabaret, and nobody from Cabaret would know that he was still alive or that he became a zombie. Ironically enough, Bobby actually ends up making friends with the Bokor, right? But at this point, Bobby knows that his sisters have literally killed him or tried to kill him or made him a zombie, all right? That's the only problem I have with certain Bokors, right? A lot of Bokors, like, they're very selfish, and they're looking out for self, right? A lot of them are going to tell you, like, if I try to do something to someone and then that someone finds out and they go to the same Bokor, more than likely the Bokor's gonna be like, yeah, she came here last week. You want to send it back? Like, they really, I don't want to say all of them are like that, because all of them are not like that, but a lot of them will literally sell out their own clients, especially when it comes to them doing malicious, malevolent shit like Aurelia and Stephanie. So essentially, they end up being friends. They end up getting real close, and eventually he tells them, like, yeah, you know, your sisters did this to you. I feel like he already knew, because, like, you locked your sisters out of the bank account. Like, be fucking for real. Like, we don't even have, it's not rocket science, okay? It's not rocket science that obviously this is what your sisters did. The thing is with Bobby had fucked over so many people, fucked over so many women, took so much money where he shouldn't have been. Like, he just been so flick on the people. He's just rude. He's not a good person. So it's like, anybody could have did this, but honestly, he genuinely thought he was sick until obviously his funeral came and he started hearing people saying whatever. But even at that, he couldn't hear everything, because not everybody's like dumb enough to talk shit in front of a casket, especially Haitian people, okay? Haitian people, we believe in everything, so you're not gonna talk shit in front of a casket. That person might hear it, okay? For the most part, he thought, like, yeah, you know, he was just sick, but he kind of had an idea that someone did something to him, and the Bokor kind of was like, yeah, your sisters came all the way over here from Cabaret. They asked me to kill you, but instead of killing you, I decided to make you one of my workers. You proved yourself worthy. You didn't have to be a mindless whatever in the field. So, you know, we start working side by side. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you that this was your sisters. Now, obviously enraged and very pissed off and cheated, but the Bokor was like, nah, I'm actually gonna die soon, okay? Like, I'm actually genuinely sick. I feel like he was dying of cancer or something like that. And he was like, and I would like you to take over my practices and take over my spirits and stuff like that. So can you please wait and then you do all of that? I ain't gonna hold you. I feel like the Bokor just didn't want somebody stronger than him to try to kill him once Aurelia and Stephanie found out that he snitched. That's my personal opinion, because it's like, fuck you, being wait till I die. He didn't have to wait that long anyway, because the Bokor ended up dying within like a year or two after that. However, the Bokor was super duper sick, but was still able to teach Bobby the trades, okay, the trick of the trades. And this is why I always tell you guys, you know, if you want to be a mumbo, a Bokor, an Ogo, whatever, you always have to have someone training you. It's not something you can learn in books. It's not something that you can learn by yourself. It's not a DIY thing. You do have to have someone train you. So he becomes a Bokor. He takes over the clients, the loi, all of that, okay? And at this point, he said, yes, bitch, I'm about to get these bitches, but not Okay, not before actually fucking they shit up, right? So one day he takes a trip to Kabare, right? And obviously niggas is not gonna know who he is. Now, allegedly he probably would have died in the 40s. Now it's like the 60s, okay? So it's like 20 years later. Now he's like maybe 40, 50-ish, around that. And he's like walking around the neighborhood, trying to go to the old places he used to frequent, trying to see who's there, who's not there. At this point, any grown one would have been in their 70s. Like if there was any like 40, 50-year-olds now, they're literally in their 60s and 70s. So some of them were still alive. Of course, some people passed away. And he ends up going to this like convenience store that he used to go to all the time to get like food, like rice and stuff like that. And there was a man there, right? And the man is like, oh, como ye, like, can I help you? Like, how are you? And he's like, ou pas changer? And he's like, no, I'm going people moun ki vin la. Like, I got a lot of people that come over here. He said, really? Like, you don't remember me? And he's like, no, pas changer. Like, I don't remember you. And he's like, I'm Bobby. And he's like, Bobby who? Like, Bobby Mbakopon. Like, I don't understand. And the store owner was really, really sweet and very, very like, he's one of those giddy people, right? So he's like, I'm getting older. My brain not here. Maybe that's why, because at this point, this man's like 60, 70-ish. So he's like, man, I'm starting to get old. That's why I probably don't remember you. He said, no, like, my name is Bobby. Tel kote. Yo dimte moui tel. Like, my name's Bobby. I'm from this place. They said I died this year, but here I am. And he said, what? This nigga, when I'm telling you, this man probably shit himself. Okay, he starts like, Bobby, like, what is you? Like, Bobby, that's you? No fucking way. Like, no, like, so he's like, oh my God, like, how, wait, no, like, I went to your funeral. He said, yeah, but I didn't die. And he tells him the entire story. Now, the reason he was so comfortable telling him the story was because, like, they were super duper close when he was a kid and up until he was an adult and then ended up moving to DR. He's the one that provided the food for free for, like, his parents' funerals and stuff like that. Like, he provided, like, the grains because he didn't make cooked food. He sold, like, the rice and stuff like that. So, like, he was very, very close to him. He was, like, a second father to him. Once his parents had passed on, and even while his parents were still around, because like I said, their parents were never really around. Like, they was alive, but they really wasn't around. So he's like, oh my God, like, wow, let me like go call your sisters. He said, no. We're not about to do all of that right now. I actually want to surprise them. And he's like, I don't do this vengeance shit. He's one of those kumbaya, l'evangile, Jesus, God, forgiveness. So he's like, no, I understand that your sisters tried to kill you, but you can't go and do all of this. You had another chance at life. Take it, go somewhere else, start a new life. He say, hey, yeah, like, I'm gonna finish what I started. So the guy is trying to stop him. He's trying to make sure that he doesn't do anything crazy. But this nigga's like, I don't want to hear what you're talking about right now. Like, I can't hear you and I don't want to hear you. Therefore, I'm not going to hear you. So he's like, all right. At least, be nice about it. Like, let me be the mediator. Let me go with you so that, things don't get a little too out of hand. So they go to where Aurelia and Stephanie live. They don't live in the same house, but they live in the same compound. But I'm talking about like living large. Okay, beautiful houses. Like kind of like across the street from each other. Like, it's weird. It's like on the same piece of land, but it's two different houses. And they're like kind of across the street. Like, you could just walk to the other house. Because I mean, obviously, I guess Aurelia and Stephanie became close from killing their brother. Because they ain't like each other before, okay? So they go over there. And the store owner, is like, oh, quote Stephanie, quote Aurelia. They come outside, right? And they're like, oh, come on, yeah, I don't even remember the guy's name, so I didn't care or bother to give him a fake name, whatever. You understand? We just gonna keep calling him store owner. And they're like, oh, he's like, hi, Aurelia, hi, Stephanie. And it was like, oh, Kiesa. And the store owner thinks this is funny. I don't know if the store owner thought that, like, maybe him being there would literally make things better, or him bringing, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like especially when it comes to Christians are so light in love. Well, real Christians anyway. They're so light in love, and they always see the good in people, and they always see the good in things. And that's why a lot of bad shit be happening sometimes, because it's like, that nigga's a whole fucking bucker. Okay, his sister's trying to kill him. You gonna bring him over there. Like, be fucking for real, right? Bro, this nigga, right? He's just like, you don't remember me? Okay, Bobby's like, you don't remember me? You don't remember me? Aurelia, Stephanie, you don't remember me? And they're like, no, who are you? He was like, "Say Bobby, this is Bobby. Hi, I'm Bobby." Child, Aurelia and Stephanie probably shit themselves. And you got the store owner like, "Yeah, look, it's Bobby. Like, isn't it great?" As if he didn't just fucking tell you that they tried to kill him. I'm really beginning to think, like, now that I think about it, I think that the store owner didn't take the story seriously. He probably was like, "Oh, maybe they just declared him dead and he just got up." But like, no, nigga, they made him into a fucking zombie and he had to live as a damn zombie for a minute, okay? And the thing is, like, a lot of you guys are probably like, well, if he became friends with him, like, why didn't he just leave while the Buckhor was alive, whatever? The thing is, when you are in that whole zombification thing, like, your brain really isn't here. Like, the drugs or whatever that they give you fucks up your brain to the point where a lot of times, like, you're still under control under that person. And that's why the Booker was like, "Yeah, no, wait till I die. I'll train you, whatever. And whatever you want to do, you could do with the, like, I could help you do whatever, but wouldn't it be better for you to learn by yourself and become a Bokor so you could be more powerful, etc. And I need someone to give my spirits to." So that was the whole premise of it, because typically if you leave, even if you're on good terms with the person that turned you into whatever, they still have control over you, right? There's still a tether. And the only way you could really get the tether off is by, like, dying. Like, there's no real other way, or I guess transferring the zombie to someone else. So he was like, "You know what? You'll be free. The rest of the zombies are going to be free unless you want to keep them on leash, so you don't just wait." So now the sisters are just sitting there like, oh, hell no. Nah. Like, they're terrified. Stephanie doesn't believe it. Stephanie's like, "You're not my fucking brother. You're not my brother. Like, don't play." And she's like, Aurelia's like, "No, like, that's him. That's definitely him." But obviously it's been over 20 years. Like, you're not going to look the same. Okay. 20s to 40s, you may not look the same. So he had like this birthmark like on his shoulder or whatever. And he goes, "I have the birthmark. This is me. I'm Bobby. Our mom was born this time. Our dad was born this time, died this day. We picked this for the funeral. This is my favorite food. These are your kids. I could name all 4 of them. Da 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 da." Like, just spitting shit out. And mind you, there was no social media in the 60s, really. So yeah, at this point they're terrified. They're like, "What the fuck? Like, how the hell do you know all of this?" And he's like, "Yeah, because I'm Bobby. Did you miss me, bitch?" So now at this point, Stephanie's kind of enraged, and she's, I mean, rightfully so. At this point, nigga, I killed you and you here. Like, be fucking for real. No. So now Stephanie is like kind of getting upset, and she starts like throwing punches and scratching at him. And he said, "Who are you talking to? Who are you touching? Who are you wilding out on? Like, do you know who I am? Nigga, I am Bobby." And at this point, you Bobby the Bokor. So the whole village is watching. He's like, "Non, c'est Bobby. Où t'es pensé, où t'es tué? Just go off, do this whole shit." So now, at this point, Aurelia and Stephanie, like, they're trying to figure out what their next move finna be, because they know Bobby's going to try to kill them. But it was a little too late, okay? Bobby indeed did kill them, okay? From what I understand, not really sure how he did it. My dad didn't really go into detail, but he definitely killed them. I think he made them sick as well. And then they ended up passing away. Bobby ends up taking all of his nieces and nephews and lives off of the money in the bank accounts that they were fighting for originally. Ain't that crazy? Like, I mean, I will say Bobby was even a great person. So I didn't really like this story, because it was just like, usually it's like, you know, the wicked get punished and get what they get. But a lot of times it's not necessarily like that. I will say all of them seem to be shitty people, but I guess the idea of Aurelia and Stephanie literally putting a hit on their own brother made them way more in the worst. Like, yeah, Bobby was a womanizer and a cheater and a liar and a thief. That's a lot of shit, okay? But I mean, putting a hit out on somebody is something completely different. Like, that's a whole nother level of, like, moral what the fuck. From what I understand, Bobby actually did grow to be old. And I don't think he actually ended up doing anything after that. He actually ended up being like a really good Bokor. Like, he helped a lot of people. He healed a lot of people. Those are the only 2 people he killed, to my knowledge. Okay. And yeah, that's the zombie story. I have a couple more, but I don't know. Like, it's creepy, because a lot of people don't understand, like, the whole premise of a zombie is not what we see in Hollywood. Anybody you know right now can be a zombie, and zombies operate just like us. They could still have kids. They could still do this, that, and the third. Like, anybody that you know could be a zombie, right? I don't be trying to scare y'all, whatever. That's why I don't really tell these stories. So with that being said, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and do all that. And most importantly, please make sure you guys join the channel memberships. I just opened them up. I hope you guys enjoy. enjoy the perks here on the screen. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. With that being said, I'm gonna see y'all next time.